Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Rachel from Rachel on Paper, and today I'm going to be talking about my journal. I want to talk about how I've set up my new journal. So spoiler alert, I have a new journal. This is a Hobonichi Cousin Spring Start. I'm filming this the last week of March, and I've already moved into it and have set up most of it. So I'm excited to walk you all through this setup. The plan with this journal is to consolidate lots of different journals that I had set up in the beginning of 2024. So I had, let's see, actually I wrote these down as I was thinking about how I wanted to use this. I had a main journal where I was documenting life. I had a family journal, I had an ink journal, a creative journal, and what I called a Dear Diary journal, which was where I did like long form, sort of more emotions, working through stuff, journaling that I did not share on the internet. And I also had a travel journal. And I was doing a terrible job of keeping up with most of these. I was really only keeping up with my main journal, and I wanted to consolidate. I started off the year using the B6 Common Planner in the half-year size as my main journal, and it was really fun, and it was coming together beautifully. I will try to flip through this at some point, but I have to go through and see what is personal and what I can share and what I can't share. But I was really missing, I love the B6 size, but I was feeling small. I wanted to consolidate, I wanted more space, and I also wanted the full year and an A5. I have used A5 journals and planners and the Hobonichi Cousin for a long time. I have so many A5 covers, I missed using them. And I also miss using the Hobonichi Cousin. So I was really excited to pick up a Spring Start. I was very influenced by Claire from Online, who is also moving into Hobonichi Cousin Spring Start. I'm excited. I think this is gonna work for me. Again, I was really missing the A5 size and I wanted a full year. I realized that I no longer like the half year for journaling. I wanted to get everything into 1 year. I didn't want a back journal, and so I think I'm just gonna use this from now until the end of 2024, and then at that point move into a 2025 Hobonichi Cousin. That's my, very tentative plan. It's the end of March. Who knows where things will go, but my thinking is that I really want one book to be my journal for the year, and so I'm going to try to fill this out for the rest of the year and try to meet that goal again, actually meet that goal in 2025, have a journal I start in January and finish in December. Okay, so let's jump in. I have this again, the Spring Start in this beautiful cover from Hobonichi. I'm pretty sure it's still available on their website. I picked it up, I want to say in 2022, but I'm not 100% sure. It's giving me spring vibes and I love it. And then I just have some functional stickers in here, a stencil, and other stickers I like to keep, or that I've been too nervous to actually use and apply anywhere. And so I've been keeping them in different planner covers, in a card from one of Sterling Ink's more recent subscription kits. I'm a big fan of her subscription kits. I feel like you get a lot of value for not that much money. It comes with so much. And it's a great way to, have stickers to decorate your journal without having to continuously buy stuff. I feel like I very easily buy too much, and so having a subscription kit, it's really been the only stickers I've bought for a while, and that's worked out really well. So on the front cover here, I have just a couple stickers. I love the Sanderson sisters, who doesn't? And I was also a huge fan of Barbie last year. And so I have a couple stickers to decorate the front of the Cousin. I'm planning to add to these over the course of the year. I like starting out with some and then letting this sort of collage build over time. I also plan to do the same thing here, and so I'm excited to see where it goes by over the course of the year. Here I cut up some of the vellum that comes in Sterling Ink's subscription kit and then just glued it down. I don't use a ton of vellum, but I've gotten in the habit of cutting it up sort of scrapbook style and using it in my journals, and that is really fun and works a lot better for me because I, again, don't use a lot of vellum. And then here I just have some sticky notes. I started decorating this cover page. I'm sure I'll also add to this over time. And then here for these, I never know what you call this layout. I guess a perpetual calendar, maybe. Here what I'm planning to do is do a currently inked for each month. I thought that could be fun. And so I'll fill out for, at the beginning of April, which of my fountain pens I have inked and what do I have them inked with. And then at the bottom here, I was thinking I just put like how many subscribers I have for each of these different sort of social channels, YouTube, Instagram, and Substack. This is redundant with my main planner, but that's fine. There's some redundancies and it's not hard to like pull that information from other places that I track it. But I thought it would be really fun to like see the different colors of inks I use over the course of several months with this layout. And then here, this is one of, in the spring start, which starts April 1st, you get 2 extra months at the beginning, so March and February. And so on February, I decided to swatch all of my ink bottles. I don't have a ton of ink bottles, as you can see, which is intentional. I do use fountain pens very regularly, but I feel like I stick to the same colors. I also have a ton of ink samples, which is why I'm trying not to buy too many bottles. I'm trying to go through my ink samples and also decide like which of those inks I really want in my bottle collection. But I'm imagining I'll add to this if I pick up any more ink bottles over the course of the year. But I really like seeing this here as a reference when I'm thinking about what inks I want to use, especially on this paper, because I tend to use, almost all of my planners have Tomoe River paper and in white paper. So I love seeing this here. And then this is the first March monthly page. I started using this on March 13th. And this layout was very much inspired by Raquel from Rocky Paper Scissor Co. She has a great YouTube channel and Instagram page. But so for the monthlies, I'm going to be using this layout. And I think I'm going to go back and try to fill out the first half of March. But essentially here I'm writing like 1 line a day or a very brief summary of the day, things I'm grateful for, just like a very short snapshot of each day here. And it looks really pretty filled up. I did it in my B6 Common Planner and I'm excited to see this. I don't need another monthly to plan. I don't need to track, but I love the idea of having this sort of like 1 line a day with some gratitude mixed in for the month. And I'm excited to see this fill up. And so that means I haven't done anything else with these monthlies. I like also the idea of like I can use the sterling ink stickers for each month as I decorate each month, since I'm not setting them up ahead of time. And then at the end, you also get a couple of extra months. So you get 2 extra months because this planner goes through the end of March 2025. And so you get April and May. And here I started swatching my ink samples. I'm not done, but I'm excited to see this filled up. And if I need more space, I can always use this because I'm sure I'm not going to be using this monthly next year for more ink samples. But I love, again, seeing them swatched on this paper. And I was trying to keep up with another ink journal and I wasn't keeping up with it. I wasn't picking it up, but I really like swatching all of my inks at least once a year just so I can remember what I have, and it gives me some ideas of different inks to use. And then from there you get into the weeklies, and the way I'm planning to use the weeklies, I have them set up here. Let's see, I have weeklies. My weeklies I'm planning to use to capture like high level things about the week and as a bit of a media journal. So I was using my weeklies like this in my Common Planner. Let me see if I can find a good example. Here's a great example. So I print a couple pictures from the week with some highlights, and I usually have a list of things I'm reading, what I'm watching, and what I'm listening to. I tend to read a lot of books at the same time. It's recently gotten a little out of hand, and I've tried to like get down to reading no more than 5 books at the same time. But I like having a list each week of what I'm reading, and then I partially fill in anything I read at all that week. So I'll start off the week by writing everything that I'm planning to read that week. I will partially fill it in if I read it a little bit or at all, and then I'll completely fill it in if I finish that book that week. And then I have, again, what I'm watching and listening to. And so it's a bit more of like a high level weekly summary with some media journaling. I'm planning to print some pictures. Maybe I'll put some quotes, but I'm not planning to, like, I rapid log my day in my main planner. My main planner I use as a standard TN. And here I have like a day per page where I put my schedule and I end up rapid logging the day. I don't want this to be redundant with this. It feels like too much to keep up with and unnecessary, but I want this to be like a high level sort of recap of the week, highlights of the week, if you will, like a highlights reel. And so that's my plan for the weeklies. And then moving on to the dailies, well, first you get this turning the page spread in the Hobonichi Cousin, and I decided this is very much inspired by Claire from Online, just like a little hello page to this journal, trying to figure out what I'm doing here. And then I also put down here some ideas for what I wanted to, journaling ideas for the daily pages. And then here I did a little planner lineup. I just filmed, so you'll see a very similar setup, updated planner lineup video. I'm not sure which I will edit and publish first, but this is my updated planner lineup, and I always like doing this, like, I don't know, anytime I'm like switching things up, and this Hobonichi Cousin was part of a big sort of shift in my lineup, and so I was trying to just recap, like, okay, what am I using? Are there redundancies I don't like? Are there too much redundancies? What am I missing? And so, yeah, this is what I'm currently using, and I'm referring to this Hobonichi Cousin as my everything journal, because again, I'm trying to like combine all of these different journals that I had set up into this one book. And then from there, I was debating at first, but I decided that I really want to ignore the dates and just journal. One of the things I really struggled with the Hobonichi Cousin is sometimes the 1 day per page feels like not enough in terms of having space to journal, and sometimes it feels like too much. And then when I miss some days, I have like blank pages, which I don't mind the blank pages, but then if I don't have enough blank pages, I feel like I don't want to move forward. Like, I don't know, I just really get in my head about when I am too focused on like abiding by the dates here, which I have done in the past. And so I'm ignoring the dates in this, and I'm just going to have fun with it. I am thinking about, like, or a big question in my head, outstanding question is like, does it make sense at some point, maybe next year, to move into the A5 Common Planner? The Common Planner has all the undated grid pages in the back. And so that's a question I'll figure out later this year. But for now, I'm going to ignore the dates in the Cousin. And so I set up a couple of collections, but my collections I have in my planner, like the main collections I really want to keep up with for the year. So I didn't set up a lot, but I did want to set up one page to capture all of the books I read each month. I do have a separate reading journal that I'm going to film a setup for, but I like in my main journal to have just a recap of the books I read. It's fun when I imagine looking back on this and, you know, you get a sense of the full year, like all of the highlights and all of the things we did. And all of the like media, you know, reading and movies, they're big like hobby for me. And so seeing them captured in my journal this way is fun because it just brings me back to those moments, right? It brings me back to the month where I was really engrossed in this book, which I was really engrossed in this book. It was a very stressful book to read. I enjoyed it. But that's all to say, I really like having some of my reading journaling also in here, even though I have a separate reading journal. And so I set up a page for March where I'm going to print the pictures of the books I read, and maybe I'll put like a quote, my favorite quote here from the books I read. Same for April. And then I'm planning to use, in the Hobonichi Cousin, you get these like monthly blank pages. So let me see. these pages. And so I'm planning to use these for the rest of the months, like the books I read in May here, and I'll do the same in the following months. Even though, again, I'm trying to ignore the dates, but because these are already set up and they're blank, I thought they could be a fun space to capture the books I'm reading as like a little reading log, and then the other pages, I'll continue to ignore the dates. And then, yeah, I decided to break this planner in early. I did some journaling, printed some pictures, did a currently inked. Again, a little bit of journaling. And then I was thinking about social media routines. I feel like, I'm an elder millennial, constantly concerned I'm on my phone too much. And so I'm trying to consolidate the accounts or the platforms I'm active on. Right now, my preliminary thinking is that I'm going to focus on YouTube and Substack, in part because Instagram is one of those apps that I could get lost in a way that I don't like. If I'm just losing 30 minutes scrolling, like that doesn't feel good for me. I would rather be reading or doing something else. And so like that's what I'm thinking, but I was just journaling about that yesterday. And then I read this book a couple years ago by Cal Newport on digital minimalism. And so I pulled back up some notes last night and I wanted to write them here to help me think about like decluttering my phone and my digital engagement. But yeah, that's how, this gives you like a sense of what I'm going to be doing here. It's going to be all over the place. I don't picture like long form journaling in here a lot, but that said, I have essentially blocked off a bunch of pages for that type of journaling. So again, I'm trying to combine all of these different forms of journaling. Here, I want this to be like short form, just summary of the day, miscellaneous journaling about like different topics, printing pictures. I want this front piece to be like fun stuff I can flip through with everybody. And back here, I have these pages sectioned off. So for that long form journaling, when something's on my mind, I'm, got to work through some emotions or figure out how I'm feeling about something. That's what I have these pages for. And then I can just, I can have them sectioned off. I won't accidentally flip through them. And I know I'm not going to use these pages because I'm sure I like the Spring Start Cousin a lot because sometimes I've used it before because you realize, by March that your setup isn't working for you. But I have to imagine I'm going to want to start either a new cousin or, like I said, maybe an A5 common planner at the beginning of 2025. So I feel good sectioning this off for some private journaling. And then, yeah, that's how I'm planning to use these daily pages for a variety of things. I imagine pulling out my watercolors. I imagine journaling about family stuff. Doing some vacation spreads. I was watching Linda Loves Creatings, her YouTube channel, and I got really inspired by her recent travel vlog and thinking okay, maybe I'll just take this when I travel. I had set up a separate travel journal, but does that make sense? If I just take one book, even if this is chunky, this one book, I could put stickers in my pockets. I could keep it relatively minimal what I travel with, and then it'd be really fun to just have that travel journaling in here too. So that's the plan with these daily pages. And then in the back, I did some swatching. I started trying to swatch all of my washi tapes. I made it through maybe a quarter. I have too many washi tapes, and swatching helps me remember what I have. I'm really trying to use up what I have and not buy any more. And then I started doing some pen swatching in the back here too. So that is it. That's the plan for this journal, which I'm calling my everything journal. I'm really excited to see how it fluffs up, how it chunks up, where it goes, and to have a book that feels like the thing I want to archive. This is my, the place where I had fun and documented life in 2024. So thanks for hanging out with me. If you have any questions about this setup, please leave them down in the comments below. And love to hear what you're journaling in. If anybody else is using the Spring Start Cousin, I love the HOBONICHI Cousin, and the Spring Start is a really fun option. if, you know, the stuff you started 2024 with aren't necessarily working out like it wasn't working out for me. So thanks again for hanging out, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.